Basarian Station.
Talks of Toronto's transit future and ways to deal with gridlock is back rolling. Trinity Spadina MP Olivia Chow spoke to a room of nearly 80 people at York University about Toronto and GTA transit and congestion issues. She is pushing for a national transit strategy ahead of the spring federal budget and the best ways to raise funds for better transit.
I think the biggest problem of our gridlock that's happening in Toronto is really having long-term predictable funding. It's not just about how much, it's about how it's given out.
Chow says mayors from many municipalities are pushing for a national transit strategy too.
What is exciting is that the Canadian Federation of Municipalities and mayors from across the country are joining together and say that a long-term plan is what's needed, and the federal government must take leadership role. If not, then we're just going to be mired in gridlock.
Chow is staying quiet on whether she will or will not run for the mayor's chair in Toronto in 2014. She did say while the city does need leadership on transit, national leadership is needed more to fight gridlock.
Transit is a serious issue. I mean, Toronto needs leadership, but what I'm talking about is a national leadership, because without the support of the federal government is very, very difficult. Municipalities like Toronto only get 8 cents per dollar that you pay. The rest of it goes to provincial and federal government. 8 cents per dollar. So half of our money goes to the federal government, so it's not too much to ask to get some of it back.
This week kicks off a series of public transit meetings in Toronto, including tonight, with the Feeling Congested Toronto Talks Transportation campaign at the York Civic Centre. Stephen Donkers, Humber News.
Arriving at Shepherd Yonge Station.
Ontario's new Liberal leader and Premier-designate Kathleen Wynne is gaining speed as she has been meeting with her fellow MPP colleagues. But a number of issues lay ahead for Wynne and the minority Liberal government, including education. Humber College President Chris Whitaker says Kathleen Wynne has always been committed to education.
Given her background, her previous role as Minister of Education, I have met her on occasion and talked to her. I know she is committed to investing in education as one of the keys to success in our knowledge economy. So I'm hopeful that that theme will continue in the next government, and they'll put education as a priority for the province.
Whitaker also says regardless of whoever is the Premier of Ontario, education always needs to be a priority.
I always hope that no matter who's either Premier or the Minister of Training Colleges and University, that individual and the government generally would make post-secondary education a priority.
Humber's Career Centre manager Karen Fass says with Wynne's role as Minister of Education under the McGuinty government, the incoming Premier will work hard on education.
Certainly she has a huge interest in education. I mean, she's already approached the public school teachers and wanting to get that RIF resolved. She, with her background in the ministry, that's going to be huge.
Humber political science professor Blake Lambert says Wynne will have to be careful in her approach to education.
There's a lot of things going around. Kathleen Wynne is going to have to be delicate. She's going to have to ensure that she doesn't offend any of the sides. Nobody really wants an election.
During her campaign for the Liberal leadership, Wynne promised to stay committed to education with promises like better coordination for adult learning and better prep for the labor market for post-secondary students. Stephen Donkers, Humber News. We all like munching on our favorite sugary and fatty foods. I know I do. But spring is just weeks away. And for many people, that means it's time to get healthy and in shape. In this slow-growing economy, people who are on tight budgets means affording gym memberships or fitness equipment is out of the question. But Humber fitness trainer Megan Crawford says you can get in shape without spending much money.
There's easy ways to work out at home or just running around town or make a route for yourself that's like safe too. And just for that inclement weather, too. It's just all about motivation to get yourself out there.
Fitness coordinator Leanne Hedwin-Adams says many people who want to lose those extra winter pounds shouldn't think of it as dieting.
So what I suggest to people is that they just start eating real food. Cut out the junk food. Cut out all the manufactured stuff. So whatever your vice is, whether it's sugar or chips or deep fried foods or whatever it is that you're eating that you know you shouldn't be eating, try to cut it out.
With obesity rates at an all-time high across Canada, nursing professor Carrie Foley says improving our lifestyles and health choices can help reduce obesity.
It's something that needs to be looked at and focused on more carefully because, as I had mentioned, it's one of the contributing factors to a lot of chronic health conditions that can result from that. It's a leading contributor to type 2 diabetes, to your cardiovascular health.
Northern and Eastern Canada has the highest rates for obesity, while British Columbia and Quebec have the lowest. Reporting from the gym while benching 270 pounds over my head. I'm Stephen Donkers. Humber News.
All subway service in the downtown core has been suspended. All southbound trains from our Finch station will be turning back at Yonge and Bloor.
Are you feeling congested as you move around Toronto? The Feeling Congested Toronto Talks Transportation campaign is making stops this week and next week around the city, asking residents how they can help pay for transit expansion. Some of the possible funding tools include highway tolls, property taxes, sale taxes, and development charges. Toronto Chief Planner Jennifer Kiesmatz has 2 reasons why the campaign is asking residents for input.
So as city staff, we've been directed by council to undertake this process for 2 reasons. One is that we're going through an official plan review, but the other is because Metrolinx has requested of municipalities in the region that we provide them with feedback on funding tools.
Metrolinx's multi-billion-dollar transit project, The Big Move, is currently in its first phase with projects such as the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. The first phase is funded by the provincial government. The next phase includes projects like a downtown relief subway line. Kiesmatz says the campaign team will report to Metrolinx with residents' feedback on the funding. She says while the big move is happening, Toronto could have other independent transit projects in the works at some point.
Well, there could be more than the big move. Right now, we are reporting back to them only on the funding tools, but once we've gone through our process looking at official plan policies, we'll likely also report back to them on priorities, because they've come out with a bunch of priorities, but we've never been through a public process to actually assess those priorities and identify whether, from our perspective, they're good planning.
The next public meeting for the Feeling Congested campaign is at the Scarborough Civic Center tomorrow. Stephen Donkers, Humber News.